Okay, I know y'all don't care, but the first time I made this video, I did example number 3 wrong. The second time I did this video, they came out and made announcements that lasted like 5 minutes. So here we are, try number 3. Solving systems of equations. So you should remember solving systems means we have more than 2 equations. We're basically finding where the 2 equations have the same answer, the same ordered pair, which is our x and our y, or in this case, our a and our b. So the first thing I know is that I need 2 equations because I have 2 variables. So I know supplementary means 180. So if I want to draw a picture, I know I'm going to have 2 angles and they're going to add up to 180. Okay, the second part is I'm going to have to translate basically into a number sentence. Is my equal sign. So I know that B equals, I have 15 degrees, and then I have less than, and then I have twice, and then I have angle A. And when it says less than, that means this guy's got to go to the back. So my equations are going to be A plus B equals 180. That's my first one. And my second one's going to be B equals 2A minus 15. Okay, I'm going to use substitution for these, which means I'm going to put one equation inside the other equation and then solve for the variable that's left. Since I already know B equals this, I'm going to put this into the first equation where the B is. So when I write it, I'm going to have A plus 2A minus 15 equals 180. So I put in the 2A minus 15 where the B was, and I put the parentheses just so it would kind of separate it so you would know, oh, that's where angle B was supposed to be. But now I can just solve it. I'm going to combine my like terms. And I'm going to solve for A. And I'm going to end up with A equals 65. All right, so my angle A is going to be 65 degrees. So my picture's not really right because my angle B is really bigger, but it doesn't really matter because I just need to make sure my equations work out. All right, so I'm going to take my 65 and I'm going to take my A plus B equals 180. I'm going to put in 65 plus B equals 180, which you guys already figured out probably. I'm subtracting 180 minus 65, and that's going to be B equals 115. So B is 115, and I'm going to check my work by adding 115 plus 65 and make sure I get 180, and I do. So I got the right answer. All right, number 2. Okay, this is a right angle, which means this is a right angle. And since this is a straight line, that means this is a right angle, and this is a right angle. Pretty much if 2 lines cross and one angle is a right angle, they're all right angles. So I have my 2 equations that I'm going to use right here. So I have 6x minus 2y equals 90. And I have 3x plus 2y equals 90. So just by looking at them and trying to figure out which one is going to be easiest to solve, I'm thinking I'm going to solve this one for y, because then I'll divide by 2, and I think it'll work out nicer. So I'm going to put 6x minus 2y equals 90. I'm going to subtract 6x. It looks a lot like making our equations for lines, which is kind of what we're doing. Negative 2y is equal to 90 minus 6x. I'm dividing everything by negative 2. Y equals negative 45 plus 3x. If I used the other equation, I would have probably gotten a fraction, which still would have worked. You just would have had to do a couple extra steps. Okay, so now I'm taking this value for y and I'm putting it into this equation. I always want to use the other equation. So I'm going to have 3x plus 2 times minus 45 plus 3x equals 90. So I need to distribute. So I'm going to have 3x, oops, not plus, minus 3x minus 90 plus 6x equals 90. Don't get excited because it's not going to be a 0. I'm going to have 9x minus 90 equals 90. I'm adding 90 to both sides. So 9x equals 180, which means x equals 20. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my second. I don't think it really matters which equation I use. We'll go back to the second equation. We'll do, I just used that one. We'll go back to the first equation. 6x minus 2y equals 90. Well, 6 times 20 minus 2y equals 90. 120 minus 2y equals 90. So minus 2y equals negative 30, which means y equals 15. This is Miss Nagel Perkins. Yes. I don't have a class right now. That's okay. All right. Oh my gosh, now I'm getting phone calls, so blah, 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 blah. Okay, y equals 15. Let's put those back in and double check and make sure they work. So I have 6 times 20 minus 2 times 15 equals 90. So that means 120 minus 30 equals 90, and that works. So then on this one, we have 3 times 20 plus 2 times 15 equals 90. So that's 60 plus 30 equals 90. It works. All right, let's see if I can keep this kind of short and tiny writing for this next one. I'm not sure. Okay, so here's 2 things I see. I see a linear pair and I see a linear pair. So if I know 6x plus 10y plus 36 equals 180, I can simplify it ahead of time by putting 6x plus 10y equals 144 because I went ahead and subtracted the 36. So here's my first equation I'm going to use. My second one is going to be 18x plus 6y equals 144 because I'm going to go ahead and subtract 36 from 180. Okay, so it's 144 because it's 180 minus 36. Okay, so I'm going to use, this equation. I'm going to solve for y because I think that's the easiest. So let's give it a try. So I'm going to subtract 18x. I'm going to have 6y equals 144 minus 18x. I'm going to divide by 6. And I'm going to end up with y equals, 144 is 24 minus 3x. All right, so that's my y. I'm going to take, what happened? There we go. Okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to substitute it into this one. So I'm going to have 6x plus 10 times 24 minus 3y equals 144. And I have to distribute. 240 minus 30x equals 144. Okay, so I'm going to put my x's together. So I'm going to have 240 minus 24x equals 144. I'm going to subtract 240. And I'm going to get negative 24x equals negative 96. And when I divide by negative 24, I get x equals 4. Okay, now we're going to go back to 18x plus 6y equals 144. And I'm going to put in the 4. So I'm going to get okay, 40, 50, 60, 72. So I'm going to subtract 72, and I'm going to check on my phone to make sure that $18 times 4 really is 72. It is. Okay. So I end up with 6y equals 72. Y equals 12. All right, so let's go back and substitute and see if that works. So I'm going to have 18 times 4 plus 6 times 12. And I can go ahead and say plus 36 and see if it equals 180. So I have 18 times 4 plus 6 times 12 plus 36, just so it'll be nice and it equals 180. So that one works. Okay, let's go back to our other one. So we have 6 times 4 plus 10 times 12 plus 36 should equal 180. So I'm going to use my calculator. 6 times 4 plus 10 times 12 plus 36 equals 180. So those are my correct x and y values. I only needed x, which means I could have skipped the very last step, but I wouldn't have been able to check my work, so I'm just going to say that's all good. All right, last problem. But you get the idea. We're making the equations, and then we're solving for both variables. All right, so here we are with a linear pair, which means 180. So A is 4 times as large as B, so that means I'm going to have A and B is going to be small. So A plus B equals 180. Remember, is my equal sign, so I have A equals 4 times B. 4 times as large, so I'm multiplying B times 4. All right, I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it in there. This should have been the first problem. I'm going to have 4B plus B equals 180. That would be 5B equals 180. That would be, B's the small one, so B would equal 36 degrees. Okay, so let's see if I multiply 36 times 4, do I get, what do I get? 144. So 144 and 36 make, does that make 180? It does. Okay, so A equals 144, B equals 36. They add up to 180, and we're done.